Okay, so let's start the session. I'm sharing my screen. Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Visible.
So, yesterday we had the discussion regarding Wi-Fi issue. If someone is not able to connect to the Wi-Fi, so what troubleshooting we have to perform? So, we had discussed about red cross signal issue. We had discussed about limited connectivity, which is yellow icon. We had discussed about airplane mode status. Then we had the discussion regarding DHCP, the PIPA, the troubleshooting, and the range of PIPA. This is what we discussed yesterday. Then we had the discussion regarding the LAN as well. If the internet is not coming in the LAN, so what troubleshooting we are going to do? That's what we had discussed yesterday. Now today, let's start with another issue. So we will start with domain joining issue today. As we know, we already have done the Windows administration classes, so we know very well that in the company, what will be your task after the installation of Windows? You have to install the operating system. So for the operating system, there will be server in company. They will be using the WDS server, which is known as Windows Deployment Services. So using the Windows Deployment Services, whatever system we have, desktop, laptop, whatever we have, if we want to install any OS, if we want to install any OS on the client systems, on the desktop and laptops. So if it is a big company, so we will not do it using the pen drive. So far, you know the option of pen drive installation, you know the option, the installation of window inside the VMware workstation. So in company, if the user count is very big, let's suppose the users are 500, 1000, 2000. So that kind of big company generally don't use pen drive, the bootable pen drive for window installation. They will not use it. They will be having the server in company that is called Windows Deployment Services, WDS. And using this server, whatever window they want to install on the client, they will do the installation. So here, this will be the management of server team. Server team is going to manage the WDS server. So whatever windows we have, let's suppose we want to install Windows 8, Windows 11, and Windows 10 plus Windows Server 2019. So all the ISO images will be available on the server. Server administrator will keep all the images on the server. After that, we are the desktop engineer, let's suppose. We are the desktop or service desk engineer. So what we have to do, we have to go to the client desktop and laptop, and we will be responsible for installing the windows using the server. So process will be same. On the client system, we need to go to the BIOS, and in the BIOS there is one option which is called network boot. So there will be one option which is called network boot, or you can call it PXE. It is known as PXE or network boot. Both kind of options can come. Either you call it network boot or you can call it PXE. So PXE stands for pre-boot execution environment. It is a service which is available in laptops and desktop inside the BIOS. And using this service, you can install the Windows on the client using the WDS server. So this service allows you the facility to install the window using the network. We don't require any pen drive on the client side. We will just download the images from the server. We need to get all the images, all the installation done using the WDS server. So for WDS installation, you must have network boot option enabled in the BIOS. So as a support engineer, you need to go to the system whenever you will get the task to install the operating system. So you need to go to the system and you need to open the BIOS. Open the BIOS, go to the boot option, and you will see there will be one network boot. So in the BIOS, you will see one network boot. There are different types of BIOS we have depending upon the model. So in some BIOS, you will see onboard LAN boot. Onboard LAN boot, you have to enable it. You have to find out this option, then you have to enable it. By default, it will be disabled. So enable this option. In some BIOS, you will see the option like this. Where? Like this. LAN PXE boot option. LAN PXE. If that is the option in the BIOS features, you have to enable that. In some BIOS, it can be like network boot. So whatever options we have, network boot, PXE boot, or onboard NIC, we have to enable that option. We have to enable it. After that, we need to restart the system. You have to restart the system. Then you will press F12. First of all, go to the BIOS, select the network boot configuration, then restart the system and press F12 key. Once you will press the F12 key, so your system will try to connect to the WDS server. It will automatically connect to the WDS server. And once the connection is successful, then you will see the screen like this. So if the connection is successful, so you will see the screen like this. Let me show you. This kind of a screen will come, the black screen. So it will automatically try to connect with your server. Then it will download the image like this. It will load the files from the server and you will see the image like this. This kind of image screen will come during the installation. After that, you will get the normal screen like this. You have to wait on the screen, then you will get the option like this. Just like you get during the window installation. जैसे हम install करते हैं ना, same screen आएगी like this. We have to create the partitions, we have to click on next, then we have to wait, we have to set date and timings and everything. So this kind of a screen will generally come, and you have to install the window accordingly. Once the installation will be completed, then you can do the further task. So installation process is very same that you have done so far. The only change is you need to go to the BIOS because pen drive concept is not there. So you need to go to the BIOS, and inside the BIOS, go to the boot option and enable the LAN boot. It can be in the name of LAN boot. It can be with the name of PXE boot. It can be with the name of onboard NIC. So whatever options are coming, you just have to enable that option. उसको enable करो बस. You have to enable that. After that, restart the system, press F12 key. Once you will press F12, your system will automatically connect to the WDS server in the LAN. Then it will download the image and it will process the installation. It will show you the list of operating system that it has available. Let's suppose on the server we have Windows 8, Windows 10, Windows 11. So whatever images we have, it will show you the list. You need to select what operating system you want to install. Let's suppose you want to install Windows 10. So you will select Windows 10. Then you will click on next. Then you have to create the partitions like this. Then installation process will be started. This is how you need to install the Windows in the company. So this is how you need to process the installation in the company. Once the installation is finished, once the installation is done, now it is your job to do the domain joining. Now you have to join the system into domain. Once the operating system installation is done, now you have to join the system into domain. And every one of you know how to join the system into domain. You already have done this during your MCSA class, during your Windows administration. So I will not go with that practical option. We will have one of the Active Directory in the company. We will have one ADDS server, Active Directory Domain Services. We call it DC, Domain Controller. So whenever you will install the window on the laptop or desktop, after that, now you have to join the system into domain. Of what? Of server. You have to make this system the member of server. That is called domain joining process. If that cl.com domain, if it is a VIP member. So practically, you need to go to this PC property. You will log in into the system, then go to this PC property like this. Just give me 1 second. Who is this? Yeah. So you have to go to this PC property. Then it is Windows 11. So in the Windows 11, you need to select domain or workgroup. If it is Windows 8 or Windows 10, then there will be one option of change settings. You have to click on that. But if it is Windows 11, you need to click on domain or workgroup. Then you will go to change. Then you have to select the domain option. And here you will type the domain name, hcl.com, wipro.com, whatever. Then apply OK and restart. This is the process that you have to follow. And you are already aware about it. You have done the practical of this series. So this will be your responsibility also, that how you will join the system into domain. And this is also your interview question. In interview, they will ask you what is WDS server, how do you install the window from the WDS, and how to join the system into domain. The scene here is you are trying to join the system into domain. You have followed all the steps, but you are getting the error. You are trying to join the system into domain. You followed the process. You went to this PC property. Then you clicked on domain or workgroup option. Then you clicked on change. Here you typed the domain name as well. And you clicked on apply OK. Then after clicking on apply and OK, you are getting the error. There is one error and you are not able to join the system into domain. So what error will come? So the error will be, let me show you. This kind of error will come. See, you are trying to join the system into domain, but you are getting this error. ऐसा error आ रहा है screen पे. You are getting this error. An Active Directory domain controller for the domain xyz.com could not be contacted. And if this error will come, you need to do the troubleshooting. This is also your interview question, plus this is also your job. You have to install the window. Once the window installation is done, you have to join that system into domain. If it is not getting joined into the domain because of any error, you will be responsible for doing the troubleshooting as well. Because ultimately we have to join the system into domain. हमें domain join करवाना ही है. अब वो कैसे करवाते हैं, क्या follow करेंगे, that is our responsibility. So this is the only error in the world in the Windows server that you will face regarding the domain joining. This is the only error for the domain joining issue. सब यही error है बस domain joining में. इसके अलावा कोई error नहीं आता. So if this error is coming on the screen, what troubleshooting you have to do? It's very, very simple. the first thing will be you need to check whether you are typing the right user ID and password, right domain name or not. Means when you go to this PC property during the domain joining, as I told you, always start with the basic. So when you go to domain or workgroup option, when you go to change, so here when you type the domain name, you need to make sure that you are typing the correct spelling. Spelling should be correct. If it is case sensitive, if it is caps or small combination, you have to check whether you are typing it right or not. So you need to make sure that we are typing the exact domain name here. Once we will type the domain name, when we click on apply and OK, we get the option of username and password. So we also need to make sure that we are typing the right administrator user ID and password during the domain joining. This is the basic thing that we have to check. If the name is okay, plus the username and password is also okay, now what we have to do, now we have to check the connectivity. We need to check whether we are able to ping from this client to this server or not, because we are joining this client into this server. हम इसका member बना रहे हैं. So if both of them will not be able to ping, if the ping is not coming between both of them, then you will not be able to join the system into domain. So you have to check the ping, and you know how to do the ping. That's very simple. Open CMD, type ping space, IP address of our server. Let's suppose the IP is 8.8.8.8. Let's suppose after pressing the enter, if the ping response is coming, it means connectivity is proper. But if the ping is not coming, let's suppose the IP is, let's suppose this is the IP. So after typing the IP of the server, if the ping response is not coming and you are getting the error, if the error is coming like requested timeout, destination host unreachable, so in that case, you have to do the troubleshooting. If the ping is successfully coming, you are getting the TTL value, it means everything is okay, connectivity is okay. But if the ping response is not coming, there is a packet loss, it means there is a connectivity issue. So if there is a connectivity issue, what you have to do, you have to follow the yellow icon troubleshooting steps. You have to follow the yellow icon troubleshooting steps of the Wi-Fi. You need to diagnose the connection, disable, enable the NIC card, check your IP address. If it is APIPA, do the troubleshooting of APIPA, then the connectivity problem will be fixed. So the first thing will be check whether you are typing the right spellings or not, right username and password or not. If everything seems to be okay, then you have to check the connectivity, whether you are able to ping to the server or not. If the ping is okay, it means there is another issue. But if the ping is not coming, then you have to troubleshoot the ping. And regarding the ping troubleshooting, you have to follow the yellow icon troubleshooting steps of Wi-Fi. Same step you have to follow. You need to check whether you are getting the IP from the DHCP or not. If not, troubleshoot the APIPA. That's what you need to do. So anyhow, you need to make sure that ping should come. Ping should happen. Ping hona chahiye. Let's suppose the ping is there. Ping is okay. But still, you are not able to join the system into domain. Ping is okay, ping is happening, connectivity is there, but still we are not able to join the system into domain. We are getting this error. Now what we have to do, in the company, there will be one DNS server also. One DNS server will also available. Now we need to check whether we are able to connect to the DNS properly or not. If we are not able to connect to the DNS, we will not be able to join the system into domain. Why? Because whenever we join the system into domain, we type the host name, we type the domain name. In this option, we type the domain name. So here generally what we do, here we type the domain name. And by default, system does not understand any name. It only understands the number systems. So if you will type any name, system will not be able to understand that. So in order to understand the name in the company, we have the DNS server, domain name server. So all the companies will be having the DNS server, and this will be used to translate IP to name and name to IP. So we need to check whether we are able to connect to the DNS or not. Connect means whether the DNS is properly working for us or not. हमारे लिए DNS काम कर भी रहा है या नहीं कर रहा, that we need to check. We need to make sure whether the DNS is working for us or not. This is what we need to check. Now, how will you check whether the DNS is reachable or not? So for that, there is one command which is called nslookup utility. nslookup. You need to open the CMD on this system where the domain is not getting joined. इस पे CMD open करना है. You have to open the CMD here, and you need to type one command which is called nslookup. The full form is name server lookup. nslookup. Then press enter. Once you will press enter, you will see two options: default server option and address option. In the address option, you can see the IP address of your DNS server. This is the IP of my DNS. Because I am at my home and I am connected to my router, my Wi-Fi router, and without DNS we cannot even connect to the internet as well. Internet भी नहीं चला सकते हम without DNS के. So DNS plays a very important role, and whenever we connect to any kind of internet, it will have one internal DNS server. But in the company, they will be having the separate server. They will configure one of the separate DNS server in the company because they are using their own domain name. They have their own domain name, so they will have their own server. So this is the IP address of my DNS. If you want to check, you can just go and type ipconfig/all, and from here also you can verify that this is my DNS. Same IP. Same IP I can see here, 192.168.1.1. See. Now why we type the nslookup command? Because we want to check whether we are able to connect to the DNS or not. So IP of the DNS is coming, but in the default server, you should see the domain name of the company. In the default server, you should see your domain name. Let's suppose it is ibm.com, so it will show you ibm.com plus IP address of the DNS. If the name is not coming in the default server section, it means the DNS is not working properly. And the name will only come in the company scenario. In your personal laptops, the name will not come. Even in my scenario also, the name is not coming because we are not using any DNS server. We are using the internal DNS of the router. But in company, they will be having the separate DNS server. So name will be configured over there. And once you will type nslookup, so you will see the name of the domain plus IP address of the DNS server. ये दोनों चीजें दिखेगी आपको. If the name is not coming, if the name is not reflecting in the default server section, it means DNS is not working properly for me. If the domain name is not coming here, it means the DNS is not responding to this system. And you need to troubleshoot that because you will not be able to join the system into domain in this case. So how will you troubleshoot? Again, it's very easy. Open CMD and simply type ipconfig //DNS. This is the command that you need to type in case the DNS is not working. ipconfig /+DNS, then enter. I will not press enter. As I told you, my internet will be disconnected because after running this command, it will remove the DNS server instantly and the internet will be impacted. So you need to type ipconfig /+DNS. You can try this command after this class once you are disconnected from the session. Then on your personal laptop as well, you can try this command. You can directly type this command, press enter. Your internet will be disconnected for some time. After that, you need to type ipconfig slash register DNS. This is the next command that you need to type, then press enter. Then your internet will be reconnected again. So you can try these two commands in your laptop after the session. So we need to run two commands in order to fix the DNS issue. The first one will be ipconfig slash plus DNS, and the next command will be ipconfig space slash register DNS. These two commands you have to type. These two commands without hash. After this, open run, type services.msc, click on OK, and here you need to search for the DNS client option, this one. Right click and you have to restart the service. In my case, the restart option is not coming because I am not logged in with the administrator account. So you have to log in with the administrator account. Otherwise, go to Windows, type services.msc. This option will come. Click on run as administrator. Then go to DNS, right click, and restart option should come. If it is not coming, just like in my case, it is not coming, you need to log in with the administrator account. So you guys will have the permission of the admin account because you will be the support engineers. So you can log in with your account and you can run this command. You can restart the service DNS client. Both of these command can be run directly. After that, you need to restart the service of the DNS client. Then the DNS issue will be fixed. After running all these things, now again you have to check the NS lookup. Once you are done with these two command and restart of the DNS, again check the NS lookup. The name of the domain will come. Then you will see the name of the domain. So if the name is coming, it means the DNS issue has been fixed. DNS का issue fix हो गया है. If you can see the name. After checking the name, after checking the DNS connectivity, still you are unable to join the system into domain, then what you have to do, now you need to open run, type ncpa.cpl, select the Wi-Fi adapter, right click, go to properties, and on the top there is one option, client for Microsoft Networks. This option, the selected one, client for Microsoft Networks. You need to make sure that this option should be checked always. This option should be enabled always. If it is not selected, you will not be able to join the system into domain. You cannot. There is one more option, file and printer sharing for Microsoft Networks. If this option is not selected, you cannot connect to the network printer in company. This was for your additional information. So if this option is not selected, you cannot connect to the network printer in the company. And the top option is client for Microsoft Networks. So you need to make sure that this option should be selected always. If it is not selected, you cannot join the system into domain. So these 3 to 4 troubleshootings you have to do in case you are not able to join the system into domain. So if this error is coming, make sure to follow the troubleshooting that I told you. Check the connectivity. If the ping is coming, very good. If the ping is not coming, troubleshoot the ping connectivity. You have to check the DNS reachability. How will you check? Using the NS lookup. If domain name does not reflect, you have to troubleshoot the DNS using the ipconfig flush and ipconfig register DNS, then restart the service of DNS client. Then go to ncpa.cpl, go to properties of the NIC and make sure that client for Microsoft Network option should be selected. Means this option should always be selected. Ye wala. This is what you will do in case you are not able to join the system into domain. Now let's proceed with the different troubleshooting. So let's talk about one more troubleshooting, which is, let me take system hanging issue. This is the basic thing that we can cover today. So let's talk about the system hanging issue. If you get any ticket related to system hanging, or my system is very slow, my system is freezed, then what troubleshoot to do? Let's discuss that part. So in the notes you can see that. So if the user is reporting that my system is slow, my system is hanging, or my system is freezing, what troubleshooting you will follow? So the first thing will be you need to delete all the temporary files and folders in your systems. Whatever temporary files and cache and logs files are available, you need to delete that completely. So what you will do, open run, then you need to type temp. You can also do this activity on the remote as well. You can go to the system as well, you can take the remote as well. So open run, type temp temp, then click on OK. Here, whatever temporary files are coming, simply select them all, Control A, then Shift delete everything, permanently delete everything. So whatever files and folders are coming there, delete everything. And this will not impact your system data. That is a temporary file only. So no data will be deleted in this scenario. कुछ भी delete नहीं होगा system से. So simply delete all the temporary files and folder from the temp location. Then again open run. Type percentage temp percentage. Click on OK. Again, whatever options are coming here, these all are the temporary files. Select everything, shift and delete. So delete everything from here as well. Once that is done, again open run, type prefetch, which is called prefetch. Click on OK. Let it come. It is taking some time to get responsive. Let it refresh for few seconds, then the prefetch will come. So once the prefetch will open, we need to select everything, Control A, then Shift and delete. It is taking some time to respond because of like we use it a lot of time. That is the reason it is taking some time to respond. So open prefetch, select everything and delete everything. Once you have deleted all these three entries, now you need to open the task manager. Open the task manager of your system. Right click on the taskbar, open the task manager. And from here, what you have to do, you need to check the CPU and RAM consumption. What is the CPU and RAM consumption of your system? If it is more than 95%, it means there is a heavy load on the processor and on the RAM. If the utilization is more than 95% of CPU and 95% of RAM, it means there is a load on system and your system will start hanging. In that condition, your system will hang. So what you have to do, if the utilization is more than 95, check the process. On the left side, you need to check the process, that which process is consuming a lot of CPU and a lot of RAM. कौन सा process ज़्यादा CPU और RAM consume कर रहा है, वो हमें check करना है अब. Let's suppose this process is consuming a lot of CPU and RAM. CPU utilization is 11.9, RAM is 234.5 MB. So if this process is consuming a lot of CPU and RAM, we need to check with the user that are you using this? Are you using this application? If user says no, right click and end task. Then you can right click and end task. You have to delete this task, discontinue this task. Because what happens, Generally, what we guys do whenever we are doing some work on the laptop or desktop, if the work is completed, we should have close it properly. Just like I am not using this window now, so I should close it. Even I should also close this one. I am not using the paint right now. My work is done, so I should close it properly. But there are some people, what they will do, instead of closing it, they will minimize it. Close करने की बजाय minimize कर देते हैं. This is the tendency with all the human beings. Instead of closing the application after the use, we guys are minimizing it. And once we will minimize something, it will be running in the back end. It is running in the back end if we are minimizing something. And that is consuming the RAM and CPU. Just like here, you can see my paint is running. See, and my paint is consuming the RAM. 54.4 MB of RAM is consuming. So if we are not closing any application after the use, it will be running in the backend and it will be consuming the RAM and CPU. And that can impact the performance of the system. System will start hanging, system hang hoga. So you need to confirm which application is idle and which application is consuming a lot of CPU and RAM. Check with the user that are you using this. If user says no, simply select right click and end task. After that, restart the system. Now you need to restart the system. Once the system is restarted, again log in into the system and check whether the performance is improved or not. उसके बाद check करो improve हुआ कि नहीं हुआ. If it is okay, then you can take the confirmation from user and you can close the ticket. If not, then you have to follow the further troubleshooting. So what further troubleshooting you will follow? So let's discuss that part. Just give me 1 second.
अगर हमें सभी टास्क एक साथ हैंड करने हो
सारे टास्क एक
तो हो
साथ एंड
जाएंगे.
नहीं होते. हाँ, एक एक
एक
करना
करना
पड़ेगा.
पड़ेगा.
या तो उनका पीआईडी नंबर पता हो तो कमांड चला के कर सकते हो. टास्क किल स्पेस पीआईडी नंबर. जैसे अगर मैं इस पे जाता हूँ, इफ आई गो टू द टास्क मैनेजर, if I know the PID number, every task will have the PID number. So if I know the PID number of that particular task, then I can run one of the command task kill space PID number. And in order to get the PID number, you have to configure the server. Otherwise, it can also come here sometimes. Not every time. There will be tasks which will reflect if you are using, let's suppose, Windows 8 or 10. So you can see the PID number as well in some of the tasks. So if you know the PID number means process ID number. If you know that, then you can open the CMD and you can type just like this. See, PID number. You can type task kill space PID number. So if you have multiple, you can type task kill space number is that. This is the only way. Otherwise, you have to select it one by one. Then you can end it. You cannot select all. There is no option to select all the tasks. You have to select it one by one. But if you know the value means your task, PID number, then you can open the CMD and you can type the command. Otherwise, do it one by one. And not all the tasks can be end. सारे tasks end नहीं हो सकते. There are some tasks which is running in the backend just to support the operating system. So only those tasks can be ended which is run by the user, जो user ने open की है. Just like Zoom application, Binword, MS Paint, any software that is opened by the user manually, so that can be ended. The by default process cannot be ended. So there are some process which is running as a service and service cannot be ended. If you will end it, again it will restart in the backend without your permission because that services are required to perform and support your operating system from the backend. So वो चलनी चाहिए, वो चलती है मतलब they will be running in the backend. Just give me 1 second. Let me connect the wild charger, then we can Yes. See, so after ending the task which is not in use, now you have to restart the system, then check the performance. After doing it, if the system is still hanging, तब भी hang हो रहा है. Now what you have to do, now open the Windows Explorer, go to C drive, right click, go to properties, go to tools option, and there are two services, error checking, optimize and defragment drive. These are the inbuilt tools of the Microsoft Windows. Using this, you can improve your system performance. So what you have to do, you need to go to the tools, error checking, then you need to click on check. You need to click on check option. Once you will click on check, you need to click on scan drive option. Once you will click on scan drive, so if there is any corrupted file in your hard disk, if any performance issues are there with the hard disk, if there is any instability issue with the hard disk, so automatically it will fix it. Once you click here, it will scan your hard disk, and if there is any issue found with the hard disk, so automatically this tool will fix it. अपने आप ठीक कर देगा. You don't have to do anything. But this process takes some time depending upon the size of the data that we have in our system. कितना data है हमारे पास. Depending upon that data in the hard disk, this process will take time. If we have around 100 GB of data saved in the hard disk, so it may take more than 1 hour as well. So take the time, click on scan drive. If there is any issue with the hard disk, it will show you the error and it will automatically fix it. You don't have to do any single thing. If this does not solve your issue, now you need to go to optimize and defragment drive. Now you need to go to this option, then click on optimize. Whatever drives you have, see, in my case, I have C drive, D drive, and F drive because I have three drives in my system: C, D, and F. So whatever drives you have in your system, it will show you the list of that. What you need to do, select the drive one by one, click on optimize. Again, select the next drive, click on optimize. Again, select the another drive, click on optimize. So you need to click on optimize with each and every drive, and it should show you the status okay, okay, okay. Once it is showing you okay status, close it. Close. Now what you have to do, now open CMD, and there is one command, clean mgr, clean manager. You need to run this command in the CMD. Press enter. Once you will press enter, again it will show you your drives. You have C, D, and F. You need to select C drive. You need to do it one by one. Select the C drive. Click on OK. Once you will click on OK, it will show you all the temporary files and folder which is remaining in your system. If any temporary logs, files, and folders are remaining, it will show you. So you need to select everything. You can see there is 202 MB of space, which is junk, which is temporary. What you have to do, select everything, click on clean up system files. Once you will click, it will again open the window. Again click on OK, and again it will scan it the full system. This will scan the complete system now. पूरा system scan करेगा. So let's wait. After that, you can see now it is showing you 218 MB of space. Once you have the complete space, which is the junk, you need to click on OK. Just click on OK. It is saying, are you sure you want to delete these files? So yes, click on delete files. Then it will delete all the temporary files, all the logs files from your system. So we need to wait here. Once that is done, this process takes some time. So once that is done, now what we have to do, now there is one command, chkdsk. You need to type this command, chkdsk, in the laptop or desktop, then press enter. Once you will press enter, if you are getting the error, if you are getting this kind of error, so how will you solve this error? So simply close it, click on window, search for the CMD. So run as administrator, and here you need to type chk dsk command, chk dsk, then press enter. Once you will press enter, so it will scan your complete hard disk. This will take some time depending on the data that you have in your hard disk. Here you can see the ETA. ETA means estimated time of arrival. It is 1 hour, 1 hour 26 minutes. So depending upon the size of my hard disk data, I have a lot of videos in my laptop. I have a lot of recordings of the classes. That is the reason the size is very huge. So it will take around 1 hour 26 minutes to completely scan my hard disk. And 7% is completed yet. So it will take this time. We have to wait till this time. Then what it will do, if there is any error, this will do the deep scanning of the hard disk. If there is any error, it will automatically fix it. We don't have to do anything. We just need to wait till this duration. If there is any issue with my hard disk, it will automatically fix it. It will show me the error that window has detected this error in your hard disk, and we are going to do the repairing now. So this will automatically fix it. You don't have to do any single click. अपने आप fix कर देगा. I know that there is no issue with my hard disk. That is a new laptop. So this will not show you anything. If there is any issue, then it will show you the notification after the scanning, plus it will automatically fix it. So if the system is hanging, you need to run this command as well. chkdsk. After doing this, now again we need to open the CMD. If still the system is hanging, open CMD. And there is one more command, sfc space slash scan now. You need to run this command. Then press enter. After running this command, your system will be restored to the backdate. Let's suppose your system was running fine yesterday night. So this will store your system in the yesterday night position. This will not delete any data. This will just do the backdate recovery. So this is the last option that you have. In case the system is hanging, you can finally run this command. After running this command, still the issue is there. तब भी issue है. Then the last option you have is to reinstall the window. You have to reinstall the window again. So format the system. Format मारो दोबारा install करो. Format the OS, reinstall it again. That is the last option that you have. So you have to follow all these steps if the system is hanging. If that does not solve the issue, finally format the OS and reinstall the new operating system. That's it. So now you can take the screenshot of this. Then we will do the rest of the things tomorrow. So just take the screenshot. Screenshot ले लो अब.
Second, sir. Second, second.
There is one more option, VPN option, that I will discuss tomorrow. Then I will again stretch on this point. Before this, I need to explain this VPN. So I will explain about this tomorrow.
Second, sir.
Then take the screenshot of this one. Where is that? WDS. These two questions will be asked in interview. What is WDS? What is PXE or LAN boot? And you need to remember the key. It is F12.
Second,
Take this one as well. How to join a system into domain.
second, second. taken, taken, taken.
So these are the things that we discussed. We discussed about domain joining issues, DNS reachability troubleshooting, plus we discussed about WDS server and system hanging issues. Rest of the things we will discuss tomorrow. So that's it for the day. Have a
सर
good night.
इतनी सारी
Yes.
कमांड हम लोग याद कैसे रखेंगे?
वो तो यार तुम्हें देखना पड़ेगा कैसे याद रखोगे।
मतलब हैबिट में आ जाएंगे धीरे धीरे
प्रैक्टिस कर
प्रैक्टिस
लो,
में।
याद हो जाएगी। हाँ, 5-10 बार चला लो, अपने आप ही याद हो जाएगी। ये एक नोट्स बना के रख लो, सुबह उठ के देखे करो, रात को सोने से पहले देखे करो, याद हो जाएगी। ये कमांड है, ज्यादा कमांड थोड़ी है वो, 5 कितनी होगी, 7-8 कमांड होगी। तो एक पेपर बना के रख लो पॉकेट में, देखते रहे करो उसको। बाकी तो डेफिनेशन तो याद हो ही
ठीक
जाएगी
है।
तुम्हें, कमांड्स के लिए यही कर सकते हो, क्योंकि अभी प्रैक्टिस भी इतनी नहीं कर पाओगे ना। You can do the practice in
हाँ
company, so the better option is just make the notes and revise it again and again, then you will remember it.
इंटरव्यू में ज्यादा से ज्यादा क्वेश्चन किस टॉपिक से पूछे जा सकते हैं इसी
ये
से?
जितने बता रहा हूँ ना, ये प्लस
हम्म।
विंडोज एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन और एन प्लस।
ओके ओके सर, सीसीएनए से नहीं आएगा?
सीसीएनए से ज्यादा नहीं पूछेंगे, नेटवर्क डिवाइस ओएसआई लेयर ये सब पूछ सकते हैं बस, कमांड वांड नहीं पूछेंगे
अच्छा, और
ज्यादा।
सर वो जो वर्चुअलाइजेशन होता है उससे रिलेटेड?
उससे भी नहीं 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 पूछेंगे। मैंने पहली
हाँ
क्लास
हाँ,
में बताया
पता
तो था,
है।
एन प्लस, विंडोज एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन, आउटलुक, ट्रबल शूटिंग और आईटीआईएल, इनसे ज्यादा क्वेश्चन पूछेंगे।
ओके।
सबसे ज्यादा इन्हीं से ही पूछेंगे, बाकी टॉपिक्स तो एक मैंने बताया था ना क्यों पढ़ा रहे हैं, एडिशनल हेल्प के लिए।
हम्म,
तो मेन टॉपिक एन प्लस, विंडोज एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन, आईटीआईएल, ट्रबल शूटिंग, एचआर, प्लस व्हाट वाज दैट, कौन सा था, विंडोज एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन एंड आउटलुक, दैट इज द मेन टॉपिक। वो पता होने चाहिए अच्छे से, अदरवाइज यू विल बी रिजेक्टेड। सो उनको ढंग से कर लेना,
ओके
देन यू विल बी सिलेक्टेड। ठीक है,
ओके सर।
ओके,
चलो, ओके,
थैंक यू।
थैंक यू वेरी मच, देन लेट्स कनेक्ट टुमारो, बाय।
गुड नाइट सर।